You asked for it, you got it. No intro today, but welcome to the Racing Update. All right. Our intro video is in the shop, getting some work done on it right now. But that guitar blasting only means one thing. That means it's noon on Monday and it's time for the Racing Update. We've got all kinds of stuff from NASCAR. A little bit of happy birthday here and there. We got some info for some people that I met. And then, of course, one of the greatest racing minds the planet has ever seen. From parts unknown, weight unknown, very little is known about this man. But here he is, ladies and gentlemen, King Tom.
What's up, Chad?
Dude, I'm working away here. You know, we're getting our video worked on. It's in the shop. We're getting some updates. I think some nitrous maybe hooked up to the intro video. We're getting some stuff done. So
Need something.
we're a little bit without the video today, but we definitely have Billy's guitar slaying abilities to intro the show. As we welcome everyone to the new and improved Racing Update. How's that for an intro? I don't have video, so I thought I would ramble for a few minutes.
I think we're doing just fine. I'm ready to get into some racing talk, man. I'm tired of already. It's Monday, and I'm already tired of being a man. So I want to talk about racing. How about you, Chad?
Let's rid the pain. We've got a couple things going on here. One is I need to stop saying I watched last week's video, and that's our big thing, is I need to focus on not saying so much. So I'm going to concentrate on that. But I want to tell people that we're also streaming live on YouTube today, on the 616 channel on YouTube. So we're not just on Facebook, we're on YouTube as well. So whichever is easier, be sure and tune in each week for more racing news. And if you share this vodcast, and notice I said vodcast and not podcast. This is a vodcast, and if you share it, you got a chance of winning a free pizza from our friends at Louis Grill and Bar. So that's the disclaimer. Let's get on with the racing, dude. What do you want to talk about? Man, I got a list. I've got several pages worth of stuff that I'm going to refer to, but I'd like to yield to the racing mind here and see what you got going on. What's your thoughts?
Well, I have NASCAR. We got to talk about the big stuff, the national brands, right? NASCAR, F1, whatever, right? We're going to talk about that. But after last night and watching Chicken Little scream and yell on the TV screen, I gotta ask: do we know if Red Dirt Raceway in Meeker, Oklahoma, is still on the map after a cataclysmic event last night?
You know, I'm glad you bring that up, because while I haven't heard about Meeker, and I hope everything out there is okay, because those guys are cool, and it seems like that they had some problems with theft like a year or so ago, so just recovering from that would be difficult, and then here's another storm on top of that. But dude, I don't even really watch anymore because it's so dramatic and so overly done that I can't even watch it. I feel like it's going to cost people injury and lives because they're so over the top while telling you to be calm. It's weird.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what they do, and that is why I watch, because I live in Oklahoma and I have to be entertained. Okay, so again, I'm just trying to rid the pain of being a man by watching some Chicken Little. So that's where we're at.
I can't watch. And you know, one thing that even bothers me more than that is on Facebook when people are like sending updates via Facebook, like you don't know what's going on or something. I find that equally as frustrating. Just save the updates and talk about racing. Anytime the storms come through, just talk about racing. Post about racing stuff. It'd be more fun.
That's what we need to do. We need to do the racing update storm watch and we'll just talk racing. Let other people worry about where tornadoes are at.
That's not a bad idea. We could go live and keep people up to date with the storm with a lot less drama, a lot less screaming and yelling, and something about silverware flying through the air. Watch for flying silverware. Something about a octopus mesocyclone.
No, we had squirrels and turtles last night. That's all I know. There were squirrels and turtles running around Oklahoma trying to screw up racing.
Outdoor malls, nice
Yeah,
restaurants, outdoor malls. It's just nonsense, and it's tough to watch. It's tough to take it serious. But of
I
course,
know.
here and more, it's a serious issue.
Yep.
It's I like to call it the natural disaster capital of the planet right here in the 73160. So we need to
Yeah.
take it serious, but it's frustrating to watch, as well as being the calm person in the house at the same time. It's
Yeah. No, I'm the other person in the house, and my wife just tries to keep me calm. So my queen just Brandy, she just tries to, hey, we're gonna be fine, and I run around trying to get underneath the tornado. That's how I do it.
Fortunately for me, I installed a shelter from our friends at Smart Shelters a few years ago, knowing that whenever I paid the money and we had that installed, that would be it for us. So I tried to tell my wife, look, it's not going to hit us. We got the shelter, everything. I haven't, the only time I've even been down in it is to vacuum out the crickets. So
Yeah.
I feel safe just knowing it's there and it's never going to get used. If I didn't have that, then yes, we'd be in big trouble. But because we have that, it's not coming.
Right. We drove right through it, right in the middle of Oklahoma City, and all we had to do was turn on the radio and listen to where it's at and drive around it. But, let's all get freaked out and get in a hole. No, that's not for me.
So yeah, I avoided that, but I did take some notes on some different things that were going on, and of course NASCAR is big on the topic list because it's kind of the only thing going on nationally right now. So,
That's right.
what did you think about yesterday's what appears to be the final race at Fontana?
I think that California is going to chase all racing out of the state, and you know, unless it's an electric car, apparently you're not going to be able to race out there. I don't understand it. It's quite the thing, and I know that this show is where we escape from being a man, and we don't talk politics, we don't do anything like that. But I also heard from another racing buddy that the NHRA is going to move their corporate offices out of California as well. So California's just given up on, trying to help any kind of racing organization, even NASCAR and NHRA. So here we are.
Well, that's interesting because I did invite the NHRA to set up right here at the studio because I've got the space. So maybe that's
Right.
the deal. Maybe they're coming here. I
That could be.
need to send a follow up email on that. But what I thought was interesting about Fontana was, apparently NASCAR has sold some of the property there. They've sold several acres, like 12 acres around the track. So I thought that was kind of interesting. That
Yeah.
it's NASCAR's fault.
It's NASCAR's fault. Just because the land is worth more than your race once a year, that doesn't mean that we need to shut down the track and stop racing. Come on, find other ways to put other things on that track and use it more often. Come on,
Yeah, yeah.
that's
Apparently they're going to shorten it or something like that. I just read briefly on what was going on because I was kind of surprised to hear that this track, which really isn't that old, I think like late '90s is when this
yeah,
thing was built.
yeah. No,
So
it's just another indicator of the way that the world is going with racing. Like we are the outcasts, and we're going to live here on the Racing Update at 616 Studios as outcasts, and try to get more people to talk about racing so they stop shutting down freaking tracks.
yeah, the property, man. It seems like it's the property value that's killing everything. But it's a shame there at Fontana because they were celebrated going five wide in kind of the first parade lap and stuff, and then it got kind of crazy. Truex just lost a wheel, which is always hard for me to understand how that happens. You're just driving along and your wheel falls off. While I've had that happen to me, I don't have a pit crew, so it seems like somebody would have checked that. But
Yeah,
the big thing was how about that big wreck on the restart where basically everybody hit Christopher Bell except you and I. I think we were the only ones that didn't run into Chris.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things in NASCAR. You're just gonna get caught up in it every now and then. That's what the drivers got to put up with, and you do that a lot more on a super speedway than you do at Fontana. Fontana was actual NASCAR racing like it used to be. Mile and a half, 2 mile tracks. We still have actual NASCAR races that break out where Kyle Busch just whips the crap out of everybody there. It's the way it goes.
And you like that because you're a big Bush fan.
Yeah, Kyle Busch is the man. He wins NASCAR races, and we get tornadoes in Oklahoma on the same day. It's like it was a double dip for me. It was perfect.
A storm was coming.
Yeah, that's right. Kyle Busch brought it in.
I just thought it was funny when not funny because I'd hate that for Christopher, but they showed kind of a replay of everybody running into the back of his car, and it was just kind of like a jolt and another jolt and another jolt, almost like they were just kind of messing with the guy.
Yeah. Oh, NASCAR. I don't know how you fix NASCAR, but I think yesterday's race was a bit of a snoozer, other than the wrecks. But if you're into endurance racing, NASCAR is a sport for you.
that's that's the best way to put it, man. Speaking of endurance, I thought it was funny this week that Dale Jr. came out putting the blame on Tony Stewart and Clint Bowyer for all the commercials that you're seeing during the race. And I didn't read the whole article, but he was kind of taking a shot at him, saying it's their fault that you're seeing so many commercials. And then, of course, what I thought was kind of interesting during the Daytona 500 is how it's completely interrupting the race. Where in the past they've had, kind of an inset screen or a half and half where you're still seeing the race during the commercial. But what I've seen lately is nothing but commercial when it's a commercial break.
Yeah, I think everybody that watches NASCAR has got to find something to complain about every single time they can, and and I love the fact that Dale Earnhardt Jr. is actually messing with his two good friends instead of blaming Fox for screwing up their Daytona 500 broadcast. He just tries to get Twitter to come after Tony on the internet, which is odd. That's exactly what I would do to you. So I love it. I love Dale Earnhardt Jr. even more now.
And hey, I'm all for commercials and sponsors and stuff like that. That's basically what racing is all about. That's what funds racing. That's what makes it all happen. And at times, I think
Yeah.
that's the vehicle that's carrying the advertising. Like that's all it is. It's just a vehicle to carry more advertising. And then, in the advertising business, I have to respect that. But I was kind of annoyed with the constant breaks and not knowing what's going on with the racing in between. It's the perfect opportunity for me to walk away. And I don't
Yeah.
mean that
No, it's
symbolically. I just mean like literally. Like, hey, you give
yeah.
me a few minutes, and something else is gonna come through my head, and I'm gonna move on.
The way that I remember watching NASCAR growing up was that it was a good time to take a nap, and you have it on just so you can, if they start yelling and screaming that there's a wreck, you can wake up. So that's how I watch NASCAR. It's a good Sunday afternoon nap.
It's a great way to watch it. And don't turn the TV. Don't even touch it. Don't touch the remote.
Yeah.
Don't think that I'm really sleeping. I'm just kind of napping. Just gonna close my eyes
No,
here
I'm
for a
just
few minutes.
yeah, just resting my eyes. Don't worry about the NASCAR. It needs to be right where it's at because I'm in a good spot. It's warm in here, and I'm just gonna rest my eyes for a few minutes. Okay.
I love it, man. I've got some more notes here. I want to wish happy birthday to Tony Earl Pinnock, who is the reigning champion out at I-44 Riverside Speedway, who also has a 616 sticker on his car. We talked about that last week.
Yep.
And hey, breaking news. I wish I had a breaking news report or breaking news graphic to throw up. And I wish I had talked about this the very first thing because, I-44 Riverside Speedway is kind of the hot topic of the week with last week's
Hmm.
social media. I must have seen it 10 different times from different people about the track being listed with a real estate agent. I meant to put a jar out here because I would like to raise money to purchase that facility. If we I'm not sure what the math is at $3.3 million divided by what, like 3 or 4 viewers. But if everybody contributed like $1 million, if I could just get $1 million from each one of our viewers, I think we can make that happen. 616 Riverside Speedway.
That is awesome. That's an awesome idea. But I think we need to start a sponsorship on a race car for King Tom first, and then we can buy a racetrack after we do that.
I'm a cart before the horse kind of guy. So let's start out with the track. Then we can all have race cars. It'll be mayhem. I can guarantee our viewers this: if they invest in the 616 Riverside Speedway, it will be complete mayhem. I promise you that.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where if we get a 4th viewer, then we can fund our whole operation just with that one more viewer. Sounds like a perfect idea.
It's simple stripper math when you put it like that. It's all we need is one more viewer.
We don't need a tip jar. We just need one more viewer.
Well, the whole reason I bring that up is because in classic racing update fashion here at 616, we're going to go straight to the source next week with Mark and Gloria Bannister right here on the show.
Nice. So we're going to get the current owners on to talk about the track and try to get some more people out to go racing. Is that what we're talking about? Like
that's what's going on. That's what's going on.
I will love it.
You know, they got a full season ready over there at I-44 Riverside Speedway. They're ready to go. They've got plans. They've got all kinds of stuff going, and we've got them next week, Monday at noon. Mark and Gloria Bannister are going to be here to talk about it. That's some big stuff, dude.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm pumped up about that, man. We need more local racing in Oklahoma to become bigger and bigger and bigger, so that everybody can benefit from that, man. That's awesome.
My communication back and forth, Gloria said that she has some things to say, which she's always very talkative and stuff, but she's got some stuff to talk about. So I'm kind of excited to hear what's going on.
She's got some things that she needs to say to the masses. That's why we're here, Chad. I love it.
That's right. This is the venue. Welcome.
No,
so that's
I'm sorry.
Next week.
Keep forgetting it's Chad now.
You could call me Chad all you want, and it won't be as bothersome as Alex Murdahl saying Paul at least 300 times, which that's an estimation, but by no means an exaggeration. Paul 300 times during that testimony online the other day.
Okay, that's the last time on the racing update that we talk such trivial things as murder or politics. Okay.
The only reason I bring that up is because it's South Carolina, and that's kind of a racing state. So
it is. Yeah.
Just current events in South Carolina.
You got to get out there and go. You got to go support your local tracker in North Carolina, South Carolina.
Yeah, I'm not even going to bore you with what a guinea fowl is and how to get a chicken out of your dog Bubba's mouth. We're not going to get into that.
Goodness.
But I am going to thank some of the people that have been watching and kind of tuning in over the past couple of weeks. We had, of course, Matt Stevenson and Scott at Cannabis Cowboy Company, Jay Bunce, my Auntie Pam, Rick Rutledge, Jeff Van Tile, Amanda Detour, and more have been watching the show. Those were just the people that commented. But we wanted to thank everybody for watching and then, of course, commenting and stuff, because there's some questions. And, Kevin Sneed brought up that he has some in-laws, Zach and Alan Olivia. They race down at Southern Oklahoma Speedway in Ardmore, which is just south of Ardmore on Highway 77, right by Lake Murray. How about that, dude?
I like it. Any place next to Lake Murray, I might be able to show up to that.
I forgot it was down there, to be honest. I drive by the drag strip, which is north of town. I drive by that a lot, but I kind of forget that that's tucked away down there on the south side of Ardmore, which is a pretty big racing community, considering they have both.
Absolutely. We need to talk to them about billboards, apparently. So.
And again, I appreciate everybody watching, and I also have a story to tell. If you want to
Oh,
hear it, you want to hear my story. You want to hear my MotoGP story?
oh, it's a story time. I like it.
It is. Everybody dim the lights a little bit and let's talk stories. There I was, King Tom, at Dale's Barbecue on Southwestern. Yeah, I had to go to Ace Hardware. It was about lunchtime, so I stopped there at Dale's to have some ribs and a little brisket, just to for a little lunch. And I see a couple sitting right there by me, and the gentleman is taking his cap off, and he's got this cap laying there that has a Pecco Bagnaia Pecco Bagnaia hat sitting right there on his table that he's removed.
So that wasn't on the menu. That was actually on his hat.
They weren't serving Bagnaias. This couple was just sitting there, and it just drives me crazy because you don't see that sort of stuff very often.
Yeah.
The lady got up to go do something, so there's my opportunity. I couldn't help but ask the gentleman, "Hey, are you guys MotoGP fans, or is that just a Ducati cap?" Which spawned a nice conversation with some great people, Rodney and Marlene, where we talked about MotoGP, we talked about Ducatis, we talked about motorcycles for about 15 or 20 minutes. Had a great chat about, of course, coming up here at Circuit of the Americas here in April. We talked about going down there. We talked about maybe hanging out at the Ducati dealership because I guess that's where all the cool people hang out. And
Oh,
it was awesome.
that is You got to talk. If you would have ran into, I would have think you would have run into an F1 fan in Moore, Oklahoma, before you would run into a MotoGP fan in Moore, Oklahoma. That is absolutely astonishing and awesome.
And I'm really glad that I brought it up because it's like, dude, don't interrupt their lunch. They're enjoying their barbecue just like you are. Don't be trying to talk racing with everybody. But it got the best of me, and I couldn't help but ask the guy about it. But we had a great conversation. We talked all about motorcycles and stuff, which is a very unusual topic to talk about here and more. So yes, I was very happy. We also talked about them possibly watching the update. Of course, I put in a plug that we do this vodcast, and they asked me a couple questions, and I followed up on these questions because they wanted to know if World Superbike has an app. World Superbike does have an app, but I don't think that you can watch the race on the app. I think it's more of like just keeping you posted of standings and what news and what's happening in the world of Superbike racing. But you can watch it on Peacock. So if you get a Peacock subscription, looks like they're going to carry all the World Superbike races this season. However, Moto America Season Pass, they do have an app. You can watch that on Roku TV. And they got a deal going right now for $89. You can see everything. So for $90, basically, you can see the entire season as well as news and updates and stuff like that right there on their app, which is Roku, and I don't know all the others because that's all I really care about. But there's your answer, Rodney and Marlene. I hope you're watching today because World Superbike is on Peacock and Moto America Season Pass is $89. That goes up to $99 on March 1st. So you want to hurry and get that before the price goes up.
Okay. I think what we really need to put a pin in, Chad, is that we really need to talk to World Superbike and all the other racing, motorcycle racing deals that you might want to make your online stuff free and try to find some more advertisers because that's what makes the world go round in racing. Oh my goodness. Paying $90 to watch motorcycle racing that's not MotoGP.
Oh,
I
that's a
don't know.
bargain. But that's a bargain. That's only like $10 a race.
Yep, for somebody else, but yep, I hear what you're saying. It's just let's put that on the YouTube for free and find some sponsorship.
Hey, I'm all for free. I'd love to watch it for free and would love for some sponsors to jump in. And I'm sure my new friends, Rodney and Marlene, would like that as well.
Yeah,
But it's a great conversation. It's very nice to meet you folks and hope to run into you down at the GP.
yep, all about it.
And while we're on MotoGP news, there's an Amazon Prime documentary that's just come out. It's about Alex Marquez and Marc Marquez, but mainly about Marc. And he talks about how his teammate didn't come and see him while he was injured and had surgery and stuff like that, which could have been a career-ending surgery. You know, he had all kinds of injuries and stuff to his shoulder. It looks like he came out a little bit early and really struggled that season until he had another surgery. But Paul Espargaro didn't even show up, didn't even come by. His brother Elish came by to give him a hug and be like, yo, man, what's up? But Paul didn't. Paul. Fabio Quartararo came by. Looks like he came by to wish him well and chat with him. And of course, Valentino Rossi didn't. But at the same time, they've always kind of been rivals, so I can see where that might not happen. But his own teammate there at Repsol Honda didn't even slide by to be like, "Yo, man."
Man, that's sad. I don't understand why the MotoGP guys got to be assholes to each other, but here we are.
The only thing I can figure is it's like Days of Thunder, where you don't like to visit another driver in the hospital. So maybe it's that kind of thing. You don't want to be aware of your own mortality.
Okay. No, I could definitely see that. It's absolutely hilarious that you bring up a racing documentary to me because I was trying to get to a racing documentary just today. So I don't know if you've noticed, but I said Kyle Busch is the man on the Facebook earlier because he made his own documentary and put it out on Prime Video. How awesome is that idea?
He made his own documentary about himself?
I'm not saying that he made it himself. What I'm saying is it's called Rowdy and it's on Prime Video. And it's all about Kyle Busch. So pretty sure he funded quite a bit of that, especially since I saw him promoting it on Twitter this weekend, just as I was trying to, catch up on NASCAR stuff. So
isn't that the name of the guy on Days of Thunder is Rowdy?
I believe that is correct. And that may be where he got that nickname, or it's just he gave himself a nickname. I don't know.
You can't give yourself a nickname.
I don't know. I don't have any nicknames I've given myself, but I've got like 6 of them. So
it just happens.
Yeah.
We were actually talking about this the other day where it's like my friend Cheeseburger. I'm sure he doesn't want to really be called Cheeseburger, but that's what you're stuck with, dude.
Yeah. If your nickname is Cheeseburger, you didn't pick it. We know that. But yeah, so I gotta watch your MotoGP documentary, and then you have to watch Rowdy on Prime.
I'll check that out. It's on Amazon as well.
It's on what now?
It's on Amazon. It's on Amazon too.
Okay, Moto.
No,
GP. I'm looking it up.
The one about Rowdy. That's on Amazon.
That is on Amazon. So where's the MotoGP documentary?
It's on Amazon as well. And I said Amazon as well, which sounds kind of fancy, like I'm putting on airs, but I didn't want to say it's on Amazon too, maybe insinuating that there's an Amazon 1 and an Amazon 2. So
gotcha.
Explaining why I'm talking so fancy and have my pinky out.
So do we know what it's called? Because it doesn't just like come up on Google the first time I put it in. So I'm not
maybe
quite sure
Mark
where.
Marquez.
Oh, it's a Marc Marquez. So Marc Marquez paid for his own documentary. I like it.
I need to do a documentary about me.
That's what everybody thinks. Not so sure that either one of us deserves one yet.
Mine would be action-packed and exciting. Tons of violence, nonsense, and great advice to our younger viewers.
Okay, so I found it. It is called All In, and he actually put his name in the title. Marc Marquez, All In, is season 1, 2023. So I've got something to put on the watch list on Amazon, and I will absolutely be reporting back next week.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. That's lots, that sort of thing is great for preseason viewing because NASCAR kind of has everything pumped up and okay, I'm ready for racing. Not a big NASCAR fan, but I'm ready to get on with the rest of the season for everybody else. So they'll kind of be like waiting in getting my feet wet of sorts.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's like baseball. If you got to put sports analogies out there because racing is a sport. So baseball, they'd have their season's too long. NASCAR season, just too long. There's too many races. They race too much. Right, you can't hold my attention for 4 or 5 hours every Sunday. Just I'll record the race and watch the last 40 laps because I like watching a 40 lap feature at the dirt track a whole lot more than I enjoy watching NASCAR.
Yeah, NASCAR's a little bit like basketball games where all you really want to see is the past or the last what 2-3 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
That's when it gets exciting, and of course that's when it lasts like another hour or something because all the free throws and stuff like that. So I
Yeah.
feel the
Mike
same way about NASCAR.
just eliminate timeouts under 2 minutes in a basketball game. Let's see what happens.
That's interesting.
Yeah, we need to write that down.
I'm not going to write it down. I don't care that
Oh,
much.
I thought we were going to submit that.
Just hopefully they're watching the show. Yeah, hey NBA, if you're watching, just that's enough, dude. Enough timeouts.
Yeah,
There should be a limit on the fouls too. Actually, they should just eliminate fouls where in the last like 2 or 3 minutes, it's just violent and hacky, whatever you want to do. No
Troy
rules.
Pistons, old school '90s basketball for the last 2 minutes of the game. Just street ball and see who's really can pull this off. And
That
let's
is, dude.
get
That's
only
what would bring
get
viewers.
called only flagrants. I mean, you have to actually hurt somebody to get a foul called in the last 2 minutes and no timeouts.
Speaking of flagrant, we promised our fans that we would talk about Formula One this week, and I don't want to disappoint either one of those fans. We're going
Okay.
to talk about Formula One. You know, they're in Bahrain this weekend. It's a big season kicking off here. They've got like some new cars and stuff, and all kinds of new features and stuff like that on the car. So it'll be interesting to see how it kind of turns out. Looks like Red Bull is going to do really well again. Alfa Romero is doing really well. They were had some fast laps over the week or over the weekend. Bottas has a mullet helmet that he unveiled, so that was kind of fun. But Drive to Survive is something that is brought to my attention on a regular basis. Do you watch Drive to Survive?
No, I have not watched Drive to Survive because I guess that's a documentary again. I got another documentary I'm gonna have to watch.
No, this I think Drive to Survive is that, and maybe I got the name wrong, but isn't that the series that's on Netflix about Formula One and the one where
Yeah,
people come up to you and ask about Formula One, then tell you they watch that show?
a Netflix documentary about Formula One. Is that what we're talking about?
I believe so, and maybe I got the name wrong, but my intention was to talk about the Netflix series.
Yeah. No, I mean I could call it a documentary, or I could just say it's a documentary on Formula One on Netflix that I have yet to watch. I can't bring myself to watch communist sports such as Formula One.
You feel that Formula One is a communist sport?
Absolutely. I mean, if you're going to say that soccer's communist, which everybody in America does, except for just a little sliver of people that do not watch the racing update. But the F1 crowd is absolutely made up of communists. But then might have turned me around just a touch because it felt like they were watching the racing update when the head of the F1 said it's not a political sport and shouldn't be used political. We are a form of entertainment and a form of escapism from some of the S word. I can't say, I don't know if I can say that on the racing update going on in the world. They hate the USA and our entitled athletes in NASCAR and the NFL and everything else because they actually get to use their voice in America with free speech. No, not at the F1. We're shutting that down immediately.
What I found fun about that statement is how the dude is totally stealing from the racing update.
Yeah. Yeah, he heard us talking. We need to shut down all of our feelings and we need to worry about racing. Maybe we do a national anthem. That's where it ends. Okay. If we're in America, we're going to play the national anthem. We're going to race. That's it. That's all you need.
Well, what's interesting, also interesting about it is that I don't remember anybody saying anything political. What politics are being brought up? I did see where they made people like Hamilton stop wearing jewelry last season. There was kind of a big deal where you can't be wearing your jewelry anymore,
And
which
see, that's what I'm talking about. You know, you just control the product, right? That's what F1 is. It's communist, right? So maybe it's an authoritarian regime in F1 where the drivers can't be themselves, and that's what they're saying on the Twitter. Like, hey, you don't get to talk about anything but racing in your life because you race in Formula One. And I agree with that. However, we cannot avoid the fact you just got to call a spade sometimes, and F1 is a communist authoritarian regime sport.
interesting. I've got
Yeah.
two kind of categories for communism though. One is like the sickle and hammer behind
Mm.
the Iron Curtain, Russia, Ivan Drago, that kind of thing. Then I got a category of like the California hippies and stuff, kind of the commune communists. So when somebody says communists, it would be kind of cool if F1 would let their hair down a little bit and be more like hippies and not take baths and just smoking weed when they're driving around the track and stuff. Maybe inside the track, like on the green, they got little gardens going and stuff.
Yep.
That'd be kind
Yeah.
of cool.
Yeah, that freedom, she's a tricky thing because your brother can move to California, and then the NHRA can leave California, along with every other form of motorsports. So it's a tricky mistress, that true freedom.
Danica Patrick shows up, but she's got hair under her armpits and stuff because she doesn't shave anymore.
Yeah, yeah, that's not going to fly. No, we're putting out a product here. It's called NASCAR. It's called IndyCar. And what was the other thing I saw from IndyCar? Because IndyCar and Formula One, you can put them in the same basket. They just play our national anthem in front of IndyCar. Um, IndyCar to, oh yeah, that's what it is. IndyCar to use sustainable tires made from desert shrub.
And soybeans.
Everybody over there eats soy burgers, and they have tires made out of desert shrubs. And then everybody that watches those two sports has driving gloves in their daily driver. So
Fingerless driving gloves with the holes in the knuckles and stuff.
yes, absolutely. That's my contention, and I need some Formula One fans other than Chad to come on here and tell me about that because I don't believe it. I believe that all Formula One and IndyCar fans like soy and they're vegan, part vegan. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't think anybody can accuse me of being a vegan, but I do enjoy Formula One. For a couple reasons. One is it's super fast. Two, they go to exotic locations and stuff, and it's circuit track racing, so it always looks cool. But it's also beautiful. The colors, the different cars and stuff like that. It's a beautifully artistic thing to watch. Now, I think that gets polluted sometimes with weird rules and I don't know, stuff like that. But if Danica Patrick showed up with hairy underarms, that would be kind of a nice addition. But that's more like communist as opposed to communist. That's kind of how I break it down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, one of these days we'll get to the part where they let other people cheat to catch up, but no big deal. I mean, that's not communist, is it?
I don't know what that is, but I don't really like it that much. It doesn't really seem to make a lot of sense how they have
The
those.
DRS, the dumbest thing I've ever heard of in racing in my entire life.
I
You've got the guys in the clouds turning it on and off so that somebody can catch up to somebody else to make this racing better.
It
not
took me
racing.
it took me a long time to figure out what was going on. I even had Todd Martin try to explain it to me here on the show one time. Not because I didn't understand it, but I just didn't believe that was actually happening. That okay, you would basically handicap somebody so that somebody else could catch up. That didn't make any sense.
Right. With that competitive advantage that you paid millions and billions of dollars for as an F1 team, they just go ahead and take that away from you because they need this other guy to catch up on this straightaway.
Yeah, I don't really like that. And I understand the bit about wanting to see better competition and battling it out and stuff. I get it. I totally get it. But it seems weird that you would give somebody an advantage.
Yeah, I mean, plate racing sucks. Because it's just a bunch of spec cars out there running around together. That's why I don't like super speedway racing and NASCAR. If I wanted to watch a bunch of cars run around and run into each other, I can go to a demolition derby. I like real racing. Fontana, Bristol, Martinsville, those kind of races, they actually race. And Kyle Busch, a real racer with Richard Childress, just goes out there in their second race ever and they win a race. So that's what would happen.
To them.
NASCAR would let NASCAR be NASCAR, but turn it up and take the restrictor plates off and make it safe somehow. I don't know how, but take the freaking restrictor plates off. Let's go.
I don't even care that it needs to be safer. It just should be faster, and that's kind of part of the deal, is being at the edge of danger.
You watch F1 because they're at the edge on every single lap, and they push it and they're fast and all of that. Plate racing is you're on the edge. You're going 200 miles an hour, but everybody else is going 200 miles an hour, and it's drafting and this and that, and everybody's. I mean, that to me is a WWE event on a NASCAR on a racetrack. The same as DRS. It's like we've got a script in the background. So
I enjoy a dancer on the brink of death, as they say in Death Race 2000. I like being right there on the edge.
Yep.
Speaking of being right there on the edge, and to all the people out there who think that it would be fun to dance on the brink of death, but are a little unsure about experiencing that, or can they do that? Can they drive their car? That sort of thing. Thunder Valley as well as Tulsa Raceway Park both give you the opportunity to take your car out on the track. They walk you through some safety tests and things like that, and we'll show you how to work the lights. But check it out. This weekend, Cruising Oklahoma is at Hallett Racing Circuit, and at 8 a.m. Sunday, looks like they're kicking off a big day where you can drive your vehicle on the track there at Hallett. They're in Jennings, Oklahoma.
Man, I might have to take the pickup up there. That would be a lot of fun. See how far I could push the pickup around that deal. Maybe even the excursion. That right there is a test of man and machine.
I didn't see any restrictions on the vehicle other than I can assume that they can't leak oil or fluids or stuff like that. But yeah, sure. I even wondered about taking the Cobra up there. Hey, how fast of a lap can I put in on the Cobra?
See, that's it right there. You got to see how fast you can put in a lap on the Honda. I don't know. Are we Honda now? Kawasaki? I know you turned your back on your Team Green, but get up there on whatever motorcycle you want and then take a lap in the Cobra just to really put yourself on the edge of danger.
That's right. I did move over to Honda exclusively. And I don't mean any ill will towards my Kawasaki brothers, but solely on Honda now. But I will throw out that while you can take your motorcycle or vehicle, your car, whatever it is, I think it's just like fast parade laps. I don't think it's actually putting down racing times or going all out sort of stuff. But you can experience what it's like to drive around the track, which is kind of interesting because a couple times it was kind of wet up there, and they asked us to get in our trucks and our vehicles and drive around the track and stuff just to help dry it up and get some of the moisture out of it. And it's really kind of interesting how difficult it is, even at slow speeds, to take a corner properly and make it around the track. So it's a lot of fun. It'd be kind of a fun experience for you and the kids.
So my question for you, Chad, is what is the Tulsa Raceway Park doing for the midnight drags right now? Is that going on this Saturday?
I need to look. I don't think it's actually happening this Saturday, but we are right on the brink of the new season up there. So
nice.
So you can check the schedule. I had the schedule here at the desk a few minutes or right before we started the show, but you can go to Facebook and check out the schedule there. They have it on the Tulsa Raceway Park page, as well as Midnight Drags has its own page.
Gotcha. So I'm just, brainwave hit me where we could go to the midnight drags on Saturday and Hallett on Sunday. So
Just a full weekend of racing.
yeah, let's just see how fast we can go in a straight line, and then see how fast we can get around Hallett. Set personal records at both tracks, come home. Sounds like a good weekend.
That would be kind of fun. Keep talking here, and I'm going to look this up so that we don't disappoint any of our fans by not having this proper information while the show's still going on.
Yeah. And the other thing that's become a huge, huge deal is the drag and drive events, Chad, that we really have to think about incorporating drag and drives into circuit racing as well. I think we need to include Hallett in a drag and drive event, because that would be the ultimate test, is that one of your days on a drag and drive, you actually have to drive your drag car around Hallett. Now that, we're talking, my man.
It's a completely different ball game, which I know, yeah, dude, you're making turns and all that, but it's a completely different deal. And I hear people talk smack about both ways. Like, okay, hey, it's easy to do drag strip stuff, or hey, it's easy to do circuit track stuff. To me, neither one of them is easy, but it's fun to see what both of them have to offer.
We need to get Thunder Valley, Tulsa Raceway Park, and Hallett on the phone together, and we need to put this thing together, Chad. That's all I'm telling you.
I'm going to make some calls. I'm definitely going to make some calls. And I pulled up this track schedule for Tulsa Raceway Park, and it looks like March 25th, which is Bracket Racing and NHRA Good Guys, the first race there, as well as Midnight Drag season opener. That's the 25th, and they have Test and Tunes March 4th, 11th, 17th, which, the 17th, that's St. Patty's Green Vehicle Night, so you don't want to miss out on that if you have a green vehicle.
Absolutely.
You could even paint your vehicle green for that night just to celebrate. Then they got the Bubble Run on the 18th, but Test and Tune the 24th, and then Bracket Racing and Midnight Drags on the 25th. So that's not far off, man.
Yeah. Dude, I'm telling you, with the 616 turn and drag and turn, what are we going to call this event?
I don't know. The 616 turn and burn.
That's why you own an advertising studio and I don't, Chad. That's awesome.
All right. Well, we promised people to keep this below an hour, and we're not far from that.
Okay. So everybody's got homework. Rowdy on Prime. What was the other thing? I can't even remember now. Mark Marquez all in. You got to watch the F1 show, if you're communist.
I'm probably not going to watch the F1 show.
Good. Thanks. We can both boycott F1.
But I'll definitely check out the Rowdy show, as well as I'll probably, now that I've been thinking about it, I'll probably watch Days of Thunder again.
Yes. Days of Thunder and Rowdy back to back it's a double feature. Absolutely.
And what was the old Clint Eastwood show where the old Western where Rowdy Yates, I think is his name?
Wow, man. I haven't kept up with Clint Eastwood Westerns, so
I'm going to look that up too. Probably have to watch some of that. Anything that has to do with Rowdy, I'm going to look that up.
Okay. That's that. Next week on the Racing Update, Rowdy everything.
the Rowdy Update next week. And hey, don't forget, we're going to have Mark and Gloria Bannister here in the studio live to talk about I-44 Riverside Speedway and the big season they got going on down there.
Nice. I love it, Chad. We got to keep all the racetracks in Oklahoma that are open today. That's our only goal, is to keep all of them open.
Absolutely. All right. Well, hey, just in classic fashion, how we end the show just abruptly and stuff, I want to wish everybody a